Hey guys, it's Miss Hamilton. I figured I'd do a little intro video without a mask on so you could see what my face looks like. And I'm in the art office studio, which is just like super messy and crowded, so sorry it's not a nice background. What we're going to do on Tuesday is we're going to be deep diving into pattern research in a very focused way. So I want to show you some examples of the Zentangles we're going to make because all these patterns are going to be for that Zentangle project. And then Tuesday and Wednesday you'll be spending time making 15 different patterns, practicing drawing them, practicing your craftsmanship, and then just practicing finding ones that you actually like that you want to use. So let's look at some Zentangles and get a sense of what that actual project, how that project uses them. So we'll talk about the Zentangle project and the project requirements and everything. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but just so you guys can see what Zentangles are. Zentangles are just like a collection of kind of meditative doodles or patterns. Sometimes they're very loose, sometimes they're more structured. The way that we're going to use them is just a way to focus on how to vary our lines and how to vary our patterns. So the standard Zentangle is kind of what you're seeing that we've done in the past. Kids make, you're going to see at the edge of the page, kids make a large circle on the page, and within that circle they draw a whole bunch of different patterns. But that's not the only thing you have to do. You can make it a rectangle, like what the student did on the right. You can make a whole bunch of shapes, like the student did on the left with the circles that are overlapping. But this reference of different kinds of patterns and what they look like in the Zentangle will be posted, so you can just see the variety and kind of get a sense of like, what do you see here that you like? What do you want to try and do yourselves? This pattern, or this Zentangle, has a really bold center with a lot of unique patterns in it that she kind of just made. She's like invented a lot of these patterns. And then here, this Zentangle project is meant to be, it's called non-objective, which means like you're not going to draw things from reality. It's like it's going to be more abstract, but you can take different shapes and use them in your Zentangle if you decide you want to. For instance, the girl on the left wanted to include a butterfly outline to hold her shapes, and the girl on the right wanted to include a star and break it up. So you can see like there's a reference to that familiar shape, but it's not like she drew a butterfly within her Zentangle. That would not be something we'd want to explore for this project. So these are some of the examples. And on Tuesday's class, what you're going to do is you're going to spend the class researching drawing patterns in your sketchbook. And you ultimately want to have 15 patterns that you've practiced drawing, and then it'll look kind of like the way it does on the right-hand side here. You want to make sure you get a variety of patterns because one of the learning goals of the Zentangle project is knowing how to identify and create lines and patterns that are varied. So for lines, we know that that's thickness, thinness, how long it is, how jagged it is, how soft it is, how bold and dark it is. And then for patterns, it means you want to have both planned patterns and random patterns, and that you also want to have like rows, grids, alternating half-drop borders, and radial. And then I would also, just to vary it up, look for patterns in nature and look for man-made patterns, like try and find them in both. And then think about how your lines are varied within the patterns, how many fields of black you create. You can see over here like there's areas of black that kind of give some weight to a pattern, and then other patterns feel very thin and light because they just have one size line. So what we'll be doing in Tuesday is you're going to take out your sketchbook, you're going to make a little grid that's similar to this. You want to make sure the boxes in this grid are about 2 inches by 2 inches. They don't have to be exact, but if they're too small, you don't have enough space to actually practice your pattern. And if they're too large, you spend too much time practicing just one pattern. And since we want to get 15 done, you kind of like 2 inches by 2 inches is what these are, and that's probably the most effective. Each box will have its different pattern, and then a lot of students really like to do optical illusion patterns too. So it can be a lot of time just to try and figure out how those are made. So just to kind of help you guys along, I've made a little demonstration that shows you the most common optical illusions that girls like to play with and like to draw. So there's a demonstration video that just does specifically all these ones on the right. These ones are all optical illusions that have shown up in previous Zentangles that tend to be popular. So in case you want to see how to do any of them, they're actually really simple. They just look difficult. There's a video that goes over that. So that's how we're going to spend Tuesday's class and Wednesday's class, and I will see you then.